Hello, everybody. No intro, just right into it tonight. How's everybody? Hope you had a beautiful Monday. Mine was terribly terrific. Terribly terrific. No way to explain it. It's only the first Monday this week, so I said I get three more chances to have a good Monday. Yep. So anyway, scissors. Edward Scissorhands. He's been thinking me. Why? Because I was looking, using some today, and I thought, how long these things have been around? Been around for a long time. But not everything are scissors that are shears. Believe it or not, I get the same phone every time. How is that possible? Hmm? Well, I don't want to hear about that. I'm busy. Busy, dreadfully busy. So yeah, not everything's scissors. They're shears. They've been around for centuries. Of course, oh, cat. I am so popular. What's up, Quail? Uh, Leonardo da Vinci supposedly drew some pictures of them, but we'll look at the history here. When did the Egyptians had them? Hello, but those were shears. And I think I found a page that kind of lays out the differences between scissors and shears. Can you do that? So, if your new volume is a little low, I haven't been using my conditioner like I should be. I know my hair volume's just a little bit down, but don't need to call me out on it. What are we doing? That thing says it. Well, hold on. Huh, look at that. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. I was running a little bit late. Didn't do the intro. I wasn't prepared. Imagine that. Not prepared. Hey, the camera's on. Oh my gosh. I'm going to throw it just thing out the window. Turn that down. I don't know. This is some girl. She was supposedly at the Super Bowl. It was on TV a lot. And somehow she's got my number. And I don't know, something about football player boyfriends, too big for his britches. I don't know what it is. Now she's hitting me up. It's just, she's not too swift. I don't know. She's after me. She can't be too swift. Where was I? Egyptians, shears, scissors, bronze, brass, all that. Of course, it was a dude in England that made them out of steel, but we'll look at all that. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're old to the channel, stick with it. It's bound to get better. And like, subscribe, share it out. Look at some of the old videos. Look for the podcasts. Make it a Monday and Thursday ritual. I have. Clell has. I don't know where Robert is. Well, he might be working. You never know. He's such the worker. He's the hard worker. All right, let's do some sharing some screens. And, well, that's the wrong button. Oh, here we go. No, here we go. Look at that. Okay. Okay, buckwheat. Where am I? I'm thinking about going back to this other software for a little time, see what's going on with it. I can't make up my mind. Why won't that? Why does it do that? All right, here we go. All right. Who invented the scissors? What's this one? These are pictures. It says, oh, I've got some show and tell tonight. Got some show and tell. Let's find out what makes scissors. How do scissors work? All right. So, according to Wikipedia, the place that has something for everything, a pair of scissors consists of a pair of blades pivoted so that the sharpened edges slide against each other when the handles or bows opposite to the pivot are closed. Scissors are used for cutting various thin materials such as paper, cardboard, metal foil, cloth, rope, and wire. Let's just take a gander at a picture of what all this means. Here's your bows. There's the pivot point, bottom blade, top blade, and in between right there as they come together is the shear or cutting point. That's what this one say down here. In case you were wondering, these are the points. There's an outside blade and I think an inside blade. I don't know how they determine that. Is this? Uh-oh, what did I click? No, you dummy. How do we get this bigger? That's what she said. Come on. Anywho, the bows are where you put your fingers. You have the inside ring, the outside ring, the neck, the shank. You got, what is that one? Ride or half moon? Where's 5? Ride or half moon? Oh, that's that critter right there where they come together. Anyway, a lot of things going on with the scissors. Working principle of the scissors. The scissors, no, that's a scissors mechanism. The blades of the scissors are a pair of wedges in a cross shape which pivot around a fulcrum. The attached handles are levers. When force is applied to the handles, it causes the bladed wedges to come together to cut an object from both sides. Make sense? So, that's the idea behind the scissors. And once again from Wikipedia, it talks about these. There's the definitions, blah, blah, blah. Hair cutting shears and kitchen shears are functionally equivalent to scissors, but the larger implements tend to be called shears. Hair cutting shears have specific blade angles ideal for cutting hair. Using the incorrect type of scissors to cut hair will result in increased damage or split ends or both. Let's see, we click on shears, cutting devices. That was not at all useful. Go back. The noun scissors is treated as a plural noun and therefore takes a plural verb. So if you have a scissor, I don't have an example of a scissor. It's just one blade. You can have a scissor. There's Robert. Big scissors. Shears. Let's just, where? All right. So, as I understand it, these little dudes here are shears. And I think, and we'll maybe find this out here in a minute when we read it where I read it. See how they're held together by this back strap. No, you can't see it. There it is. So this back strap right here, and they're held open constantly until you squeeze the blades together. And you actually put force on the blades themselves, where scissors, you squeeze what they call them? The bows together, and that makes the cutting motion. So I said I was going to have some show and tell. These are some scissors that have been around in my family for, as you can tell, decades. Oh yeah, they ain't nothing like the old rusty scissors. Sounds like a good drink at a bar, doesn't it? Give me a double of the old rusty scissors. So, these are very strange. I don't know why it has like 2 bottle openers and then 2 screwdrivers here on the ends. Can you see those? The little flat places. Zooming in there, little flat places on both the back of handles. And these little dudes in here would be like maybe pliers, nutcrackers, or something. So, and then the knees are the scissor parts. 1 scissor, 2 scissor, and this makes scissors. I like these, but I don't know. You can't really tell. They're kind of loose, and so they don't cut. But see, when they're pivoted, and these shears aren't pivoted. You just basically they're held open like that all the time, and you squeeze the blades together to make it work. So I think that is the difference between what people call scissors and what you would call shears. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm always right, so how could I be wrong? So let's go back to who invented scissors. Now, let me get back. Is that, there, history. Here we go. The earliest known scissors appear in Mesopotamia 3,000 to 4,000 years ago. These were of the spring scissor type, comprised of 2 bronze blades connected at the handles by a thin, flexible strip. Hence these dudes here. Of curved bronze, which served to hold the blades in alignment to allow them to be squeezed together and pull them apart when released. Spring scissors. Some guy named Ed saw the movie. Yeah. With Edward Scissorhands, I bet he wasn't a dude long. Either that or he wore a diaper. So, allow them to escape. Spring scissors continued to be used in Europe until the 16th century. However, pivoted scissors of bronze or iron, in which the blades were pivoted at a point between the tips and the handles, the direct ancestor of modern scissors, were invented by the Romans around 100 AD. They entered common use in not only ancient Rome, but also China, Japan, and Korea, and the idea is still in use in most modern scissors today. So it talks about this one guy, Robert Hincliffe of Sheffield, England, should rightfully be acknowledged as the father of modern scissors. Modern scissors. He was the first to use steel to manufacture and mass produce them in 1761, more than 200 years after Da Vinci's death. So Da Vinci, of course, was attributed with all kinds of inventions, but the Egyptians had them way before Da Vinci was around. Where'd it go? France, Germany. Where are they? Okay, so those are kind of like the ones that I have, but mine don't come apart. The wifey poo bought some fancy ones downstairs we use in the kitchen that they come apart. You open them like that, and then the blades come apart. So you can clean them and wash them and that kind of stuff. Right-handed and left-handed scissors. Probably all know they already, have those. Because really, it's funny, scissors are only work one way. So if you take a pair of left-handed scissors and try to cut right-handed with them, they just don't work. It just does not work. I tried to find, I've got some blade shears, not this size, but now this is what Robert was talking about. These dudes here are well used, and this guy that see down here, they've got like a double spring on that one. Blade shears used in demonstration at the New York Sheep and Wool Fair in 2007. So the Leatherman's there for size, but yeah. So this is Sizzler something. See how it's kind of, mine's a little fancier than those. It's got 2 nutcrackers on it. But he's got a bottle opener. This looks like a bottle opener in there. Well, he's only got 1 screwdriver. Ooh, poultry shears. I don't have any of those, but cut through bones and all kinds of stuff with them bad mamma jammas. Cigar cutter and holder. Yep. A castrator. Hair cutting scissors. So here I've got my own pair of those. And I've had these forever, ever, and ever. Now, do I cut my own hair with them? No. You know what they're good for? Nose hairs. Good for nose hair. Got to be careful with them, though. You can make your nose bleed with them mamma jammas. But these are, who makes these things? It's got a name on it. I can't read it. But I've had these since I was like 15 or 16 years old. They're from Germany. I can read that much of it. I think they're stainless. Yep. But very good pair of scissors. Very sharp. Long, pointy. Dig out the earwax. No. Don't dig out the earwax. Very good. So I've got a pair of those. All right. Thinning hair. I'm telling you what, I only had to go to the little white cabinet in the bathroom to find all these things. Can you see the teeth in there? It's the same thing as what you see here. So when the top blade comes down, some hair falls in between and does not get cut. Some hair falls on these little points and then gets cut. So if you've got really thick hair, you can take those things and cut the hair, and as you can tell, maybe you can, maybe you can't, you can see through there, and so it just thins it out. Now I don't need that. My hair's so stupid thin now that, you know, I could have a full head of hair and still get sunburned. But I got a good beard, so it makes up for it. All right. So I don't know if they've got a pair of these. I'll show you these other ones. Now I have seen these. I've never owned a pair, but these are early manual barber clippers. I wouldn't call them scissors. Nail scissors. All right. So I got me a pair of them critters too. Now I don't know. I don't cut nails with these. You hammer nails. They might be a little bent, but I doubt it. They look like they come together really, really well. Good for sutures. Yep, sutures. Those are good for sutures. Cutting your stitches out. Nose scissors. Now, that's not the same as these. These are for trimming hair, but they're really good for nose hairs. Somewhere I've got a pair of these, and the reason they're called nose hairs is these little dull ends. They got little nubs on them, so it keeps you from poking the inside of your nose. Now, these, even the pair that I've got are not nearly as sharp as these. So with these, if you try to use them, be careful because you'll end up pulling the hair out more than cutting it. I got some tin snips. Mine aren't that big. Everybody's got some metal shears or snips. Ooh, that's a hydraulic cutter. Throatless shear, that's cool. Now, trauma shears trauma shears. I've got a pair of these. These are the ones they, like EMTs are supposed to carry, I guess. And I couldn't find them. I was going to bring them up. But the reason they call them that is this is kind of a guide point down here. So you snip a hole in somebody's jeans, you stick that in the hole and run it along the skin, and then you cut, and you don't cut the skin. Or if you got to cut a watch off, or you've got to cut a bandage off, or you got to cut a shoestring off, or whatever you got to do, you slide this one under it because the tip's kind of dull, and it goes under things well, and then the top one gives you the leverage, you cut it. I don't know what those are. Surgical scissors, bandage scissors, the same kind of thing. These are like at a doctor's office, though, made of stainless, and this point out here is flat and wide, so it doesn't hurt the patient. Giant scissors, and back to the all-purpose paper scissors. Buttonhole. I don't know how to use those, but they look cool. Left-handed tailor scissors. Ooh, embroidering scissors. Pinking shears. Those are really cool. My mom I've still got them somewhere. My wife has a pair. This picture gives it kind of a funny look because of the way the jaws are. The stair steps look funny. But when you cut material with them, of course, it leaves that pattern, zigzag pattern on it. Ooh, early to mid Tang dynasty. Ain't nothing but a Tang. Those things don't look like they would cut nothing. They look really dull. They're pretty. Your older mustache scissors are from Pakistan and Germany. Yeah. These would be good for, like, mustaches. When I used to trim my mustache, I could use that. Still sharp, yep. Pair of iron scissors dating back from the Han Dynasty. See, I think those are shears. Fiskar scissors, of course. Embroidery scissors in the form of a crane. That's really cool. They call these shears, but I mean, those to me are just another pair of paper scissors. Scissors for cutting carpet pile. It looks like a pelican beak down there. I had a pair of these. I couldn't find them. Don't have a pair of those. Those are weird. All right, so this is a pair I didn't see. I don't know if you can tell. Maybe on the end. Can you see that little on the bottom? This little notch, little thing, loop in it, whatever. You can see it there. Those are good for stitches, whether they're in your skin or when you're in a hem. So you just reach in and stick that under the thread and then close it, and it snips it off so you can undo hems in your pants. And there's one other pair that I've got here, and I don't see them in this description. All these scissors here, and we're going to look at these. I saw a guy that worked for United Telephone Company for decades. I mean decades. Use a pair of these. They call these snips, lineman snips. But these little tools right here, it was amazing to watch him use these things, stripping wire and wiring the old screw down terminals for telephone systems. And they're also used right now, you can use them for cable networking, low voltage, and things like that. But he used these things, and there wasn't anything that he couldn't do with these pair of scissors, not this particular pair, but this style of scissors, the snips, and they've got, I got a video up of them. You can see the little notches in them for stripping the two different styles of wire. And you can't tell on these because they're wore out. But along this edge here is a, I don't know, ribs. And I never knew what they were for. Maybe you can hear it. But run my nail across it. But lineman snips. And I don't know why they call them linemen. Linemen to me are the dudes that climb up in the buckets and do, high voltage stuff. So let's look at these things. So right here, snips, lineman snips, electrician snips, not scissors. So let me turn this on so we can hear this dude. Let's see I don't know who put this out. 1D10 Crazy? I don't know. 1D10C Racy. Anyway, let's see what the dude says.
Unique or useful tool that I myself use. New Tool Day Tuesday, where I share with you guys a unique or useful tool that I myself use that I would like to share with you guys. Now, I know what you're thinking, and you are wrong. These are not scissors. These are snips. Some people call them electrician snips, linesman snips, but they are not scissors. They look like scissors. They kind of act like scissors, but when you find out how useful these are, you may buy yourself a pair. I personally have multiple pairs because I keep one on my service truck, I keep one in a toolbox in my shop, I keep one in the toolbox in the basement because they're just that dang useful. So they look like scissors, they kind of work like scissors, hey, they smell like scissors, what is the difference? Well, it's the quality and the design. These are really thick, very thick metal, it's hardened steel, and they're designed to cut wires. Specifically, they're designed to cut telecommunications and network cable, where if you try to do that with these scissors, well, the better half is going to be really mad at you because you're going to dent them up and dull them out pretty quickly. Now, the first thing I want you to do is listen to the sound these make when you open and close them. They're just so precisionally made, they sound fantastic. They're like a high quality pair of scissors, which again, they're not, they're snips. So what I have in my hand is Cat 6 network cable, and I want to show you how easily these cut through it. Not a problem at all, and we're not going to damage the blades. You'll notice on the side of the snips is these little indents, and these little indents are designed to strip the wire inside that cable. The way they work is you just put the wire into them and you give them a quick pull, and you can see we strip that wire pretty easy. So this is great if you have screw down terminals like in a telecommunication block or something like that. Typically we punch cables down these days so you don't skin them a lot. But if you do, it's built into the side of the scissors. And then on the back side is kind of a rough edge. And the point of that is sometimes you get some oxidation on those copper wires, and you can just kind of rub them on the back like this, and that'll clean them right up. So now that you know what the real use of these are for, you'll understand why I use them. I use them because they're basically scissors on steroids. They can take a beating and keep on ticking. And after all that use, they still cut paper just fine. They're awesome for zip ties. Thicker gauges of wire, no problem. They cut that just fine. Now, anybody that's worked with fiberglass knows how quickly a regular pair of scissors will dull out. Not with these guys. These guys hold up very well. against fiberglass. And I've actually used these scissors a lot just for cutting fiberglass. I have 3 pairs of this particular brand. It's Ideal, and almost all of them have been used to trim fiberglass, and they're still holding up very well, and I would say they're just as sharp as they were when I bought them. Have I mentioned how versatile these scissors can be? You would never cut something like this with your good pair of scissors. Would you cut through a pop can with a good pair of scissors? Heavy cardboard? You wouldn't do that with your good scissors. And something like a piece of napkin, after we've cut all that, it's still a perfect cut. And those, my friends, are what snips are. They're basically scissors on steroids. Now this particular brand, as I said before, is Ideal. If I could find this pair online, I will put a link down below. There are other companies that make these, and they're all just as good. Some of them have bigger handles that make them easier for big mitts like mine, and these are just your everyday common pair. You can also find these in Lowe's and Home Depot and places like that. If you like these types of videos, please like and subscribe. Take a look at some of my other videos. At the very least, you might be entertained.
Whoa! Hi, everyone.
So he talked about the bigger handles, and that's what we're getting ready to look at here. But when this guy that was doing the work, he never, hardly ever, and I watched, and we were talking because I've known this guy, I'd known him for years. He hardly ever put his thumb in it. And this is what they're going to show you here, I think, on this pair. He held it like this, and the bottom bow just rested in that pad of his thumb, and he would just squeeze them almost like pliers. He hardly ever put his thumb in there. Of course, his were well broken in and everything, and I think he would just flip them open, you know, with his thumb if he needed to get them open or something like that. But he never put his thumb in that place. And of course, he'd been using them and doing. I mean, he worked for the telephone company when switching stations were, you know, the size of somebody's garage, 2-car garage. And I used to go in. There was a place in Bluff City I would go in, not by myself. When I was a kid, I went in there with my dad a couple of times, and you'd hear all the mechanical clicking of all the switches when people were making telephone calls, and it was closing and routing the telephones, and it was just constant hum and clicking in that place. But that was back when those guys did it all. Climbed the pole and strung the wire and run it down to your house and did all that kind of stuff. Let's see what they say about these.
Everyone, Steve here. Today I'm going to talk to you about snips. These are snips. Now they probably look like scissors to you, but one thing I will tell you if you're new in the field is that if you refer to these as scissors around anybody who's in the industry, you will probably get laughed at. Okay, so these are referred to as snips. Sometimes they might be called lineman scissors, they might be called lineman snips, they might even be called electrician scissors, but generally just snips is appropriate. Now, there's 2 basic types. There's kind of the traditional style, which is a little smaller, and then there's what they call kind of the ergonomic style, or what I like to think more of as real lineman's snips. And the reason why is for people who work with cable a lot, then having this ergonomic lever on the back really helps a lot, because when you're cutting through thick cables, it helps to take your hand out of the hoop there and actually put it on the back of that lever and give it a good squeeze. Whereas the traditional style makes a lot more sense for people who do, maybe small installations or a lot of repair work, that type of thing, where you're not actually cutting through cable a lot. So, because if you are working with cable a lot, your hands will be sore after a day of using these, but probably be a lot less sore using something like that. Okay, so I just want you to know this is one of my top 5 tools. So I would certainly have a pretty miserable day if I left the home or office without these. So I would probably even turn the vehicle around to go back and get my snips if I forgot them. All right, now you might be wondering, hey, why can't I just use a pair of scissors? Well, you might be able to get by a little bit with a pair of commercial scissors, But snips are specifically designed for people that work with cable. They're specifically designed for the cutting of cable, the stripping of wires, and I'll show you some examples. And then, to be fair, I'll even try it with the scissors too to see what that looks like. So why don't I get some cable and show you a few examples.
Not how you would have done it.
Okay, so let me give you an example. So I've got a piece of Cat 6 plenum cable here, and what I'm going to do first is I'm going to cut it, just so you can see what it's like. Okay, so cut it. Real fast, neat, clean, a little bit of dental floss there hanging out. All right, let me try that same trick with the scissors. Almost. But as you can see, it's not a clean cut. I've still got like a little piece of wire hanging out there, so it was not a clean cut. So that is one of the main reasons why you would want to use real snips over just, say, a pair of commercial scissors. Now, in fairness, if you're just, watching these videos because you only need to know how to do one simple connection or something like that, you probably can get by with just using scissors. You don't need to run out and buy a pair of snips. But if you're going to be in this business, or if you're going to work with this stuff enough, you definitely want to invest the, roughly 12 to maybe 25 US dollars for a good set of snips. All right, the second thing that we do with snips that's important is we strip the jacket off of cable so we can get it ready for termination. So see this white stuff here, that's what we call the jacket. I'm gonna take the scissors, the snips, oh, please don't laugh at me, and I'm just gonna graze the outside. Okay, so all I did was I just kind of lightly bit down a little bit. Actually, biting is probably too strong of a word. I'm just kind of grazing the outside just to make a little bit of an edge in there, and then I can just kind of break the cable, or it kind of peels apart like that. So like, all cables are different. Well, I should say there's a lot of different type of cables out there. Some do that a little easier than others. All right, and then the right way to do this is after you're done taking out that first piece of the jacket, is you take and you make a little notch like this. And the reason you do that is because it gives a place for you to take this little, see this thing here looks kind of like dental floss. It's referred to as ripcord, although a lot of people do still call it dental floss. You put it in the notch and you pull back, and it makes this tear in the jacket. And that's done on purpose. And then what you do is you peel it back, say, I don't know, however long you need, let's say an inch, 2 inches, and then you take your scissors and very carefully cut around.
You call them
so that
scissors
jacket
again, by the way.
comes off. And ideally, if you do it right, you want the jacket to come off in kind of a, here, let's get rid of this dental floss here. And that's another thing that the scissors don't do well. They don't cut that dental floss very well. For some reason, scissors and dental floss don't get along really well. But what you want to do is when you cut off that jacket is you want it to have a nice rounded collar when you're done. In fact, that's not even a perfect example. It's just kind of tough for me to do this while I'm working with the camera at the same time. All right. So the reason we did that is because when you do that initial grazing that I was doing earlier, there's a possibility that you actually might go through the jacket and then actually penetrate the coating on the wires, which could either cause them to break or in some cases short. So that's what we do. We make the grazing action first.
Don't start nothing, there won't be nothing.
Then we make the notch, then we pull the ripcord back, and then we cut.
So I don't know if he'll mention, I don't think we'll watch this whole video, but I don't know if he mentioned, I didn't actually preview this one. If you notice this, the snips he's using has a special cutout in the back that the normal snips they didn't come with, and that's what he's using all this time to cut what he's calling cable. See, when he cuts, let's go back, and that's what he's using to score the jacketing too. Is that special notch cut into those things. See, he's got it up into that notch in the very back jaws of those scissors. Snips. See, Robert's got me doing it now. But I mean, I use a Leatherman to do all kinds of stuff at work too. I mean, it's nice to have a bunch of screwdrivers and needle nose and those kind of things, but they don't strip wires very well. I mean, I don't know if he'll get into. Let's see if he shows stripping wires.
Snips are definitely going to be a must. This was kind of cool about these Kleins. It's kind of new. Is you see how it's got that little indentation right there?
Yeah, there he's talking
That's
about
new.
that.
I hadn't seen that before. So these are only about maybe, I don't know, about a year old, whereas these guys are, like I said, about 10 or 12 years old. But put that right there in those little notches like that, and wow, that went well. Okay, you'll remember I said that these
Okay, so he's
little
gonna strip
notches
them
right
here.
here were for stripping the wire. Now, we don't do this so much anymore because a lot of the stuff we do now is, you know, a lot of the connectors are all punched down, so there's no need to strip off the coating. But if you were working with a screw terminal or some other instance where you needed to actually strip back the coating that's on the wire, that's what these little notches are for. So see, I've got like this individual wire right here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it there in a little small notch. Hold it with my finger, just kind of like you're basically just holding it down like that. And then as you pull, that little groove is stripping back that rubber plastic coating that was on there. And then you could use that to like kind of put on, you know, screw terminal type phone jacks, which I guess you still see those around sometimes. So, all right, so that's the stripping part. Now there is something else I do want to show you too, and that is wire ties, these little plastic zip ties. These are miserable to get off with scissors. And I think it's because the scissors just don't have the leverage. But boy, you take this pair of snips, man, it just cuts right through those suckers like that. All right, so yeah, and you're going to have to cut zip ties a lot in this business. So definitely don't want to be trying to do that with scissors. Okay, so let's wrap this up. Basically,
So yeah, stripping them. I mean, you wouldn't strip anything, you know, like house wiring with those. It's just they're just too tiny. So I would think, you know, these were basically for, you know, if you're going to use them, if you weren't using them for, you know, Cat 5 or telephone line or any of the low voltage lines or anything like that, they'd probably be good for working on car wiring. You know, so car wiring, most of it's relatively, you know, smaller, but I don't know. HVAC, I guess you could use them anywhere where you know, you weren't dealing with house wiring, big gauge or larger gauge kind of wires. Because unless you had that notch, you know, and both of them were bragging on how thick these were. Yeah, doorbells, make them ring a dingy dingy. You know what's funny about a doorbell? Why are they 12 volt? They have a little transformer that takes your house current down and makes DC voltage out of them. Why don't somebody just invent one that, you know, just house wire, like a gong, a door gong instead of a bell. You just hit it and just boom instead of these little ding donger things. 0.5 volt. What? I thought they were like 12 volt. Is it that much? Is it that little, I guess? Half a volt? See, learned something new. Robert the electrician man. A half a volt. Clell knew too. Clell would be a good handyman. So, snips. All about scissors. Now, these are fly tying scissors. And I was kind of disappointed in this article. I started reading it because it had all these cool scissors pictured, right? The thing that I was kind of disappointed in this is because they talk about what kind of scissors you use in tying flies, but they don't give you the pictures associated with it. So if you were to look at these pictures and you see all these different style of scissors, you go down here, it'd be nice to be able to see one when you were talking about thinning or tapering scissors or any of these other scissors. But I mean, most of them I would assume are for doing fine cuts on, whatever material you were using to tie your flies. But apparently they use quite a bit of different scissors in fly tying. .32 tops, sewing scissors. There's your pinking shears again. Regular cutting. I guess this is a seam ripper here too. Those two, and then whatever that was. I can't remember what that one said it was. It's also worth noting, although these cutting tools are listed under scissors, there are differences between a pair of scissors and shears. Shears are bigger than scissors, and they're usually more than 6 inches long with a long blade. Shears have longer handles and allow for more than one finger to grip the handle. Shears are heavier and put more pressure on the fabric they are cutting. See, right here, show me a picture of the buttonhole scissors. Why not? Just show me a picture. Shears and scissors. Show me what that looks like. See, here's one. Finally. Best scissors to cut fabric. Electronic shears. Embroidery. There you go. Embroidery shears. Left-handed scissors. For them lefties. Lefties. All right. So, we didn't break the bank on scissors, but I did bring some show and tell. That ought to count for something, right? Woo! It looks better on the full screen. Better on the full screen. Clell replaced his doorbells how he knew. More like 1.5 volts. I was just being sarcastic. Didn't touch it barehanded. Well, you shouldn't touch it barehanded. You get shocked. Shocking. Shocking. There's the ones that have let's turn them up this way. Got a little hook on them, a little thing at the bottom. Snip. These little devils right here, man. I don't know why they would call those. Look how curved they are at the tip. I can't do this camera stuff. See how curved they are? Like a daggone, I don't know, snow ski or something at the end. I don't know why they would call those nails. Something about doing your cuticles or something. I have no idea. And then the hair thinning shears. Let's see, turn that around. Move it there so you can see as you close, some hair gets cut and some hair doesn't. And it thins out if you got a real thick mane. I don't know if you can tell. You can barely see. There you go. Look at that stuff, man. That's an awesome up close. See those ridges on there? I'm surprised they show up that well because when you feel them on the scissors, they really feel smooth. There's hardly any ridge to them at all anymore. And I don't even know where I got those. I know I didn't buy those. And let's see. Let me do this if I can. I think it says they're made in the USA. Let's see what it says. 175 ES. I'm going to call it snips. All right. 1774 in Amazon. Crescent widths, 5-inch electrician scissors. That's what these are. Even though they should have called them snips. I said mine were 175 ES. Or maybe it's E5. Why, yes. Yes, it is E5. So, yep. Crescent widths, 5-inch electrician snips, 175E, $16 at in Amazon. Bottom blade. Yep. So, like I said, I don't know where I got them. They were in there with all my other scissors or all these other scissors. The only thing I was kind of really disappointed in is, so it's a screw. Flathead screw comes through this end. And if you look closely, right there, see how high that thing sticks up? Coming out the other side, it's almost like that screw was not the original in this pair of snips. See, I'm learning snips. So, yeah, if you run your finger across it, you can actually catch one thread that's sticking up there. Plus, they're kind of tarnished. I don't know what they've been used to cut. Looks like they've been used to cut tar baby paper or something. Need to be cleaned up. Need to be cleaned up. So 51 minutes on scissors. Who would have thunk it? But it's just something I was thinking about today. I don't even think this was lunchtime. This might have been before work. Thinking about scissors. I can't remember how that was working. But it's pretty ingenious. Whoever decided that you could, I wouldn't, man, they're not sharpened like a knife, of course, but they really work well for what you have them to do. And so whoever thunk it pretty good. Now, these won't open any further than that. I don't know if that's by design or by, you know, some kind of problem. But now these little critters, you can open them up like this and slice stuff with just one of the blades, just one scissor, just a scissor. Now, one thing I read, and I don't know how, because see that, this one thing said that ancient times you could hang scissors by the door to keep evil out because they kind of make a makeshift cross, but these don't. And another thing was that they said women would put a pair of scissors under their pillow at night at the end of their pregnancy because it was said that that would indicate cutting the cord and induce labor in women if you slept with a pair of pizzers under your pillow. So if you slept with a pair of pizzers under your scissors, then it would induce labor. I doubt it. So there you go, a little bit idea on scissors and shears and some of the specific models. Oh, these are Conair. These are the cheapies, Taiwanese. I was thinking that these set right here, that it was a present. I think they're stainless. I wish I could read that. It's some kind of D name. Anyway. All right. I appreciate everybody coming by, staying with me, trying to learn something. We didn't make fun of stuff tonight. Well, maybe next time we'll look at more Facebook ads and make fun of all the faux pas and the problems that people have. Seems like trying to write a good Facebook ad. So anyway, I appreciate everybody coming by. Until next time, come by Thursday, 9 o'clock. Should be doing another show. Like, subscribe, get on Facebook, Instagram, X. I'm just going to leave it at that. X. Don't say no more. No need to say any more. Change the name. Get over it. Instagram, Facebook, X. That's about it. And YouTube. So anyway, I appreciate it. We're going to try to stop this one again. Hey, so I'm going to try one of these. Did that work? No, it didn't work. What is that? Daggone it. Anyway. I tried to send an emoji, like a heart emoji, and it just blew up. Why would you do that? Anyway. Thanks, everybody. Stop streaming. Okay, ready, set, bye. There we go, bye. You asked me again. You will not be able to reconnect your stream. Will stop and you will no longer be live. I said stop streaming. I know I'm no longer going. I'll be alive, but I won't be on YouTube live.